Hi, my name is Marc and I'm a junior researcher at the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence and a master's student at Saarland University. Today I want to talk about investigating user-created gamification in an image tagging task, which is work I have done together with Maximilian Altmeyer and Pascal Lessel, who are also from the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence, and Dominic Buchheit from Saarland University. We were interested in this topic as customization has become a valuable method in the field of gamification and has in general been shown to increase enjoyment, to increase intrinsic motivation, and to positively affect user experience. But customization usually comes with certain limits and boundaries, as users need to choose from a finite given set of game elements. This is why one specific work has become of interest for us called Users as Game Designers. In Users as Game Designers, users were asked to write down their own gamification concepts. So, for example, in the scenario of kitchen cleaning, participants were asked what would actually motivate them to perform the task and to write down a game-based concept. Now, as the evaluation showed, the concepts among all the users were pretty diverse and there was not a huge overlap in the game elements used. So we asked ourselves, what would happen if we take those concepts, implement them, and confront users with their own concept? Now, as the title already suggests, we investigated this in the image tagging context. The image tagging context has priorly been used by Meckler et al., where they were able to show the positive effects of top-down gamification. Top-down gamification means that users were given a predefined set of game elements, like in this case points and leaderboards. One advantage of the image tagging platform is that it already provides a measurable variable, because we can simply count the amount of text users provide and see which users seem to be more motivated because they provided more text. In this video you can see our re-implementation of the image tagging platform. We decided to re-implement it because this allowed us to modularly implement new concepts and to integrate them into the platform, which was necessary given that we expected so many diverse concepts. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, here people were able to see the images for a few seconds and afterwards to enter text that came to their mind, and on the right-hand side they were able to see the gamification. In this case, the gamification consisted of the game elements points and leaderboards, which means that with every tag entered, users would receive 100 points, which made them climb the leaderboard until they reached first place if they put in enough effort. Part of our image tagging platform were the 15 images that we showed each participant in randomized order. Those images were taken from a study about effective image classification and have already been used, for example, in this study including the image tagging platform by Meckler et al. Reusing those images allowed us to preserve comparability among the different studies. Now, what were the research questions and the hypotheses we wanted to answer with our study? Well, first, we wanted to be able to replicate results because Meckler et al. Have already been able to show that top-down gamification has positive effects in the image tagging context. So we wanted to be able to show that top-down gamification, but also user-created gamification have positive effects compared to no gamification. With our second hypothesis, we wanted to go one step further and show that user-created gamification would also outperform top-down gamification because we give the users much more freedom. H3 on the other side is about tag quality, and other work has found a negative correlation between tag quantity and tag quality, which means the more tags users provide, the lower their quality becomes. Now, as we expect user-created gamification to have the significantly highest amount of tags compared to top-down gamification and to no gamification, we consequently also expect it to have the lowest tag quality scores. Lastly, with H4, we say that even though we expect the quality to become lower, we argue that this is made up by the amount of text generated by user-created gamification. So if we filter out the text of low quality, we say that user-created gamification still has the significantly highest amount of text generated compared to top-down gamification and to no gamification. In this overview, you can see how we investigated our hypothesis. As you can see, we have three main conditions ranging from no gamification to top-down gamification using points and leaderboards to user-created gamification. All of the conditions started with a survey on demographic data where we asked our participants about their age, gender, and nationality. Afterwards, each of them faced a tutorial. The tutorial for no gamification and user-created gamification explained the image tagging to our participants. The tutorial for the top-down gamification explained the image tagging as well as the points and leaderboard game elements. Afterwards, the no gamification and the top-down gamification conditions started tagging all the 15 images, while the user-created gamification participants started with the design task. Afterwards, no gamification and top-down gamification participants finished the study by completing a questionnaire on the system usability scale as well as the intrinsic motivation inventory. User-created gamification participants were also done with the study after the design part, after which we looked at the concepts and implemented them. After implementation was done and we integrated the concepts into the platform, we re-invited the participants to the study. From here on, they followed a similar procedure as no gamification and top-down gamification. They started with a tutorial that explained the image tagging again, as well as their own gamification that we now implemented, and continued by tagging all 15 images. Afterwards, we asked them questions about the implementation, so we could ensure that we implemented it in a way that the participant actually imagined their concept. In the last step, user-created gamification participants also completed the survey on the system usability scale as well as the intrinsic motivation inventory. One problem that we faced was to make sure that all the different concepts were comparable among each other. And we decided to do that by summing up all tags per image and per user and to aim for approximately 100 tags per 15 images per concept. How did we do that? Well, on the image below you see one of the user-created concepts. Here, users would unlock several fishes or a decoration in a fish tank upon entering more and more tags. And upon entering the 100th tag, users would unlock the fully equipped aquarium. Later, we decided to take this specific aquarium concept and make it an additional condition in our study with further participants. We handled it the same way as top-down leaderboard, meaning that the participants were given this concept in a top-down fashioned way. This way, we were not only able to compare the creator to the top-down group, but we were also able to compare the two top-down conditions, which had completely different concepts and approaches to each other. In terms of tag quality, we had two independent raters who rated each tag for each image on a scale from 1 bad to 3 good. A tag was rated with 1 if it was neither related to the image nor was it a mood which was asked in the task description. It was rated with a 2 if it was either a mood or related to the image, and it was given a 3 if it was both. Now, in the beginning we had some problems with the inter-rater agreement, which is why our raters came up with a defined rule set after some discussion, and we ended up with an inter-rater agreement of kappa 0.86. Our participants themselves were mostly female, with 39 being female, 30 being male, 1 being non-binary, and 1 did not want to give an answer. Most of the participants were from Germany, and most of them were also between the age of 18 to 24, as well as 25 to 31. In terms of our main results, we found that, yes, all of the gamification conditions were able to have a significantly higher amount of tags compared to no gamification. But if we have a look at user-created gamification, we also found that user-created gamification differed significantly from both top-down conditions as well as from the no gamification condition. Regarding tag quality, we did not find all the significant differences we would have expected. So we only found a significant difference between no gamification and user-created gamification, as well as no gamification and top-down aquarium. This means we cannot say that user-created gamification has significantly lower tag quality than our top-down conditions. Lastly, if we filter out the tags of bad quality, we can see that user-created gamification still has the highest amount of tags compared to top-down gamification as well as no gamification. Now, what does that mean in terms of our hypothesis that I talked about earlier? We can fully support H1 because we were able to find significant differences between all the gamification conditions and no gamification. We can also fully support H2 because user-created gamification was able to outperform our top-down conditions. Now regarding H3, we are only able to partly support it. We found that user-created gamification had worse tag quality compared to no gamification, but we cannot say the same for user-created gamification and top-down gamification. But regarding H4, the number of acceptable tags, we can fully support this hypothesis again. Filtering out the tags of bad quality led to the significantly highest amount of tags in the user-created condition. We also want to report on some additional results that we found. As I already explained earlier, we also asked our participants about the intrinsic motivation inventory, and we would have expected that participants in the user-created condition have a significantly higher score regarding autonomy because they were able to freely design their own concept. Yet there was no significant difference regarding autonomy, not even between no gamification and user-created gamification, where the difference was the highest. The same goes for all the other items of the intrinsic motivation inventory. Regarding the comparison between the aquarium concept creator and the aquarium condition group, on the other hand, we found significant differences in terms of tag quantity as well as tag quality. In both cases, the original concept creator scored higher than the aquarium condition group. But this already leads me to the limitations of our study. Because this additional result, of course, needs further investigation, as we only ran those tests on one of many cases that we could have examined. Also, we had a time gap of 23 days on average between concept submission and the start of the second study session for our user-created condition. This was partly because we needed time to implement the concepts, but also because participants took time until they started the second part of the study. Lastly, the tagging task was limited to moods, which means that we kind of limited the valid input users were able to give, which might have influenced their motivation and might have had an influence on the tag quality rating. But we decided to do so to preserve comparability to other studies in the image tagging area. To summarize our results, I can say that user-created gamification is able to increase tag quantity at the cost of slightly lower tag quality when we compare it to not using gamification at all. But if we filter out those tags of bad quality, we can see that user-created gamification is still able to achieve the highest amount of tags compared to top-down gamification and no gamification. Now, in the future, it would be interesting to get to know the reasons for this high amount of tags, as it was not reflected in our results. We expected autonomy to be one of the factors, but as the intrinsic motivation inventory showed, there was no significant difference in our results. Lastly, it would be interesting to see if this approach also works in different contexts and not only in the image tagging context. So this was my talk about investigating user-created gamification in image tagging task. Thanks for watching.